I could have done so much in 2 months. Volunteer for charity, participate in food drives, helping out the community. But instead, I created a monster.
Let's go back to 2008. Back then, we had Halo and Call of Duty. But do you know what's cooler? Minions. Minions are cool and awesome, but I felt like it was missing something. Zombie minions, that's what we're missing. And your childhood has been robbed. That's okay. Me, slurp.pdf, is gonna fix your childhood. But there's only one problem. I don't know how to code. So I scoured the internet for the world's biggest degenerate, and I found him. 2 Dice. I looked at his portfolio and he has all the good qualities. He can video edit, he can 3D model, he can code, which means all I had to do was draw and look pretty. In order to make a successful minion, we had to be the minion. So that's exactly what we did. Before our first meeting, 2 Dice wanted me to gather as much zombie minion reference so we can have a good idea to brainstorm off of. Unfortunately, I didn't hear him, so instead, I brought him a bunch of photos of sexy minions.
Okay, show me what you got.
No.
Oh!
You know I said zombie minions, not sexy minions.
Yeah. So that went pretty well, but he wasn't quite happy with it. We went back to the drawing boards, and this is what we ended up getting. Now that's what I call art. With this out of the way, we can get a solid concept art going. So I'm setting up my documents. I got my reference on the left, and then the right 3, I'm gonna do the different poses. I wanna really capture this oblong bean shape of the minion. So I'm trying to keep that form in mind. I don't plan on using line work, so I'm gonna keep my lines super messy just so I'll have that idea. So right now I'm doing the sketching process, and we got a good idea of how the side looks, but we still need to figure out his curves on his front and back. So that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of getting an idea of how his turnaround would look like, and I gotta make sure I give him a nice fat boot. There we go. Now that's much better. So right now I'm taking the polygon tool and I'm just outlining his basic shape. That way I can easily shade him without going outside the color. I'm just masking him off, and then I'm going to turn the background just a little bit darker so he pops out more. Because I want him to look super crisp, I made everything its own separate layer, which is a little bit of overkill, but it helped me with getting that sharp shading. And then what really helps with this style is going on the edges and adding just a little bit of bevel to each side. That's going to really help make everything pop. On a new layer, I'm going to start working on his hands, and I'm just going to block out the colors. That way I'm not rendering stuff behind his hand. It just saves me a little bit more time and brain power. And then for his other hand, I'm just going to do black in the back, not put too much detail, and it looks pretty good. When detailing, try working with the cross contour curves of the objects, and that's going to give it a 3D effect without you relying on shading, and it'll give it a little bit more visual interest. I'm going to add a strong backlight to make my minion pop out from the background. And when you're adding rim lights, try not to just outline the shape of your objects. Try to do little triangles, and that's going to keep it look more organic. So I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I'm going to push the values a little bit. So I'm going to duplicate everything and combine all the new stuff. And then I'm going to paint it purple and put it under a multiply layer. And this serves as an ambient shadow to everything. And I'm just going to blend everything in, just kind of make it a little bit more smooth. So now that I got everything pretty much settled, I'm going to do some more little bit of details, little touch up. I'm just going to make a new layer and sample the colors and just kind of work off with it. I'm just going to paint over everything, and I'm a little bit more sloppy on this stage. And there we go. We got 1 minion down, 2 more to go. Now it's time for the layer breakdown. So first we got the outline, background, rendered background, skin with outline, skin with no outline, pants, backhand, accessories, mouth and gums, intestine 1, intestine 2, intestine 3, fingers, teeth, more intestines, and rim lights. And we're all done. That was beautiful. A true work of art. Well, my job is done here. I don't need to learn to code or 3D model because that's for smart people, and I just make pretty art. After giving Rabbit Paradise a bunch of moral support and eating a bunch of hot chips, we finally got the results.
Dance ram, no they're gonna get out of and try now, that's part of the plan. Original Dan, there's only one Mr. Sandman. Fumbo, pop, lemon, late and some can't understand.
Pretty dope, right? Yeah, so that was all 2 Dice. If you click on his video, he'll show you guys like his process of like getting into 3D models and how to work with concept art. Seeing how he models is very interesting. I'll put a link in the description below. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching to the end. If you guys can hit a like, that would be awesome. And now for some shameless self-promotion. Do you want some cursed minion merch? Are you itching to have my face on a minion and then wear a shirt of that? Well, you're in luck. Check out my Redbubble store. I made some funny shirts just for this video. Link in the description below. And one last thing. So making this video, I made a lot of animation assets and I would rather not have it go to waste for one video. So I'm gonna put it on my Patreon. It'll be for free, but if you want my minion rigs and you want some free backgrounds, I'll just put it in a zip file for you guys to use. If you guys want to make memes, do whatever you want with it, but I just want to let you guys know it just in case any of y'all like edit videos. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a good one.